What we're going to do here in Scratch is look at how to move a basic character using the arrow keys. So I can use this character here, the sprite, or I can create my own sprite by clicking on that button there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a very simple sprite. So I'm going to use the circle here, and I'm going to create a clear circle and some basic circles for his eyes. Now what I can do is I can use the stamp tool to copy that. So if I select that, it'll give me the option to stamp that elsewhere. So I'm going to use that, and then I'm just going to use a basic line for the smile there. So there's my cute little sprite. I might actually colour him in, so I'll make him purple and make the eyes white so that they're not transparent. Because if you have a look at this background here, the checkerboard, that means that it's transparent, so you'll be able to see through it. So say if he goes over a tree, we don't want the tree to be seen through his eyes. So if I hit OK, there's my sprite number 2. Now I'm going to rename him because it's important that we use meaningful names within our program. So I'm going to call him Purple Guy. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the control structures section of the programming language. So you'll notice there's some different things here. So we can look at motion, the looks of the sprite, the sound of the sprite, where the pen is. We can sense certain things and use variables, but what we're going to look at the moment is just the control. Because what we want to do is have when the left arrow key is pressed, something happen, when the right arrow key is pressed, something else happen. So in this case, we're going to have we're going to drag across when the space bar is pressed. But if you click down on this, we'll have the up arrow key pressed. So we can change the key that we actually want to be pressed here. So we're going to pick the up arrow. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have motion, and we're going to move him 10 steps because we want to move it. Now if I double click on this, this will test this. So what happens when I double click? It moves 10 steps to the right. Now I don't want that to happen. I actually want it to point upwards and then move up. So I want to point in a certain direction, and I can drag that in between the two things. Now if you have a look, we're lucky here because this actually tells you exactly what directions they are. So in this case I want it to point up, and I want to move in 10 steps. So if I double click on this to test it again, it will actually move up. So the more I click on it, the more it moves up. And you'll notice then I have this element here, and I'm just going to right click on that and hit delete because I don't really want that one in there. So if I go up, okay, so that we know that when the up arrow key is pressed, so if I click on the up arrow key now on my keyboard, it also moves up. So it triggers that code there. Now what I want to do is I want to make it when the down arrow key is pressed, it moves down. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this piece of code and hit duplicate, and that gives me the same bit of code there again. But I need to change some of the properties here. So I want to change when the down arrow is pressed, I want to move it in the direction down, and I want it to move 10 steps. So now if I click on the down button, okay, he'll move down. When I move up, he'll move up. Okay, now obviously I want left and right, so again, right click duplicate. When I want the right arrow clicked, I want him to move right, and duplicate again. When the left arrow is clicked, he needs to move left. So now if I click on my arrows on the keyboard, if I move left, if I move right, if I move up, if I move down.